Ah, yes, Gamergate. Depending on who you ask, you may get different explanations for it. Some people may say that it was the consumer rising up against the corrupt corporate press, which kept insulting the consumer, calling them racist, sexist, homophobic bigots. Other people may say that Gamergate was a vast shadowy cabal or conspiracy of a grand international scale with the scope of preventing women from playing video games. But luckily, the corporate press and the army of journalists, backed up by the corporate Hollywood elites, have managed to put a stop to this nefarious plot. And only because of them do we have women playing video games to this day. But this nefarious shadowy cabal ever so slightly tries to creep back into the spotlight with their new move of trying to hijack the Depp trial. They are using their vast power and influence from within their dark bedrooms to try and sway the public opinion against poor Miss Heard. What are we going to do? Will the press make a return? Will the elites come back to stop these nefarious people, these evil trolls from behind their keyboards? Only time will tell. Which one of these explanations sounds more reasonable and which one sounds a lot more unhinged? The reason that they hate Gamergate is due to the fact that very rarely in history do the populist left and the populist right find common ground. And when that happens, the elites are getting desperate because, you see, life is like a prison. In a prison, the people in power, the warden, he's got his guards, but the prisoners outnumber the guards. So the prisoners may never find common ground, and this is why you see a lot of segregation and racismus, especially in California in our prisons. And you don't see the press trying to put an end to it. You don't see the press being concerned about the racism that goes on in prison, because the racism is essential in order to keep the prison population in check. You need to have the various gangs being at it. You need to have the various races being at it, so that when there is a prison riot, the prisoners don't unite against the guards. The prisoners go against each other so that the guards can easily mop them up. And it's pretty much the same thing that we notice at a societal scale. Every now and then, the left and the right finds common ground, like we noticed at Occupy Wall Street. And this is when the powers that be really freak out. Another example is during Gamergate, when Tumblr and 4chan, of all places, decided to shake hands and work harmoniously together in order to do to the press what the sleeping giant is trying to do now to Tucker Carlson, what Vox Media is trying to do to Steven Crowder. The same tactic. And it was very effective at the time. In fact, they lost a lot of money because of it. BuzzFeed especially suffered because of it. So they don't like it. And this is why you get articles like this, even years after. I bet there's going to be the time when the year is 2500, the world is going to be destroyed by nuclear waste, but one journalist remains, one journalist to tell the story, and he's going to have a blue check mark and scream about Gamergate. I also love the thing, it's like the alt-right is hijacking. First of all, like the alt-right doesn't exist anymore. I mean, can you show me a single person that identifies with that moniker? And even if it would exist, let's say that they're in hiding. Okay. Aren't you glad that this is how they occupy their time with? I mean, there's an election coming on, you know, instead of them organizing, forming a political party, supporting extremist candidates, they're watching the internet and they're doing celebrity gossip. Isn't that a good thing, though? Like, isn't that like a good waste of their time? Like a lightning rod directing the energy away from the things that matter towards the things that really don't? The overwhelming effect on women's rights could be catastrophic. I agree. Yes, if more women like this one comes out and starts lying about abuse, yeah, it would be a catastrophic effect. I definitely do agree, which is why most women that I speak with do not like this lady. And I can tell you there's a lot of women on the left, including feminists, who do not like this lady, because anyone watching the trial, any person that's not disingenuous or being paid to write this garbage, they do not side with this lady for this specific fact. that everyone knows that she's lying. It's not that she's a liar, she's a bad liar. I mean, a makeup company came out to debunk her claims. How often does that happen? Like, you claim, oh yes, well, I have this makeup kit to cover my bruises, and I've always had it for the last couple of years. And then the makeup company comes out and it's like, actually, we didn't release this product, except a couple of years ago. There's no way you could have had it when you were married with that man. In 2014, like, look how ancient this is. How old would you be if you were born in 2014? You would be 8 years old now? Like, there's people that are going to eventually start reading about this, and they'll be like, what the fuck are this journalist talking about? What gamer? Like, that happened before my time. Game developer Zoe Quinn. I mean, it's a stretch to call her a game developer. It's kind of like me making YouTube videos and calling myself a movie editor. I mean, it's a little bit grandiose for what I do, you know? But okay. So, Eran Johny made this 10,000 word manifesto. Like, why does it matter how many words it has? Like, a 10,000 word manifesto. It wasn't even a manifesto, it was a blog post. And he made it because Zoe Quinn said that cheating is like rape. Because you see, had the woman know that you're cheating on her, she may not consent, so technically you're having sex without consent. So this guy makes a post claiming that his girlfriend cheated on him at least 5 times, which according to her logic, she raped him at least 5 times. And I'm supposed to believe the victim. Do you see a problem with this mentality? I'm just saying, what I love is like, this was completely untrue. How do you know? How can you prove a negative? How do you know that it was untrue? You can say that you don't believe him, but there's no way you can say that it was untrue unless you were there all the time holding hands with him. Well, actually her, right? Unless you were there holding hands with her the entire time, there's no way you can know whether or not it's true. But you know what it is? It's gossip. That's what it is. Can you imagine gossip, especially a sex scandal, going viral over the internet? Oh my goodness! Oh, how horrible! That never happened in the history of mankind. That never happened with the Hulk Hogan sex tape. That never happened with Tiger Woods. That never happened with Bill Clinton. No, clearly, it must be a shadowy cabal of right-wing conspiracy trolls that are trying to ruin this woman's life. A woman who, by the way, you forgot to add, has a kill-death ratio. Like, she is the only person that I know with an active KDA. I mean, she actively bullied someone over the internet until that person committed suicide. Can you imagine? Like, the Trust and Safety Council was probably built for her. Like, if I ever want to learn how to bully someone over the internet, I would ask her for professional advice. She's so powerful, it frightens me. She accused a fellow mentally ill game developer of having molested her. And I'm not saying mentally ill as an insult. Like, the guy was legitimately suffering from mental issues, and she knew. And despite all of this, she accuses him. All of his friends turn on him. The industry kicks him out. Now he's jobless. There is no evidence that he did anything to her. Okay, we don't call that a disgruntled manifesto, even though later on the guy ends up killing himself. Okay? But for some reason, when Zoe Quinn does it, it's progressive. When Eran Johny does it, oh, it's completely untrue. 10,000 word manifesto. And by the way, do you know why? Do you know why the internet started talking about this and criticizing this? It's because the moment the manifesto was released, and this was in a time when you had internet freedom, there was free speech on the internet, you didn't have Trust and Safety Council, you could have posted whatever, whenever you wanted. For the first time ever, you notice censorship going on. You notice things getting banned from 4chan just by talking about this. You notice things getting banned from Reddit just by talking about this. Videos get DMCA'd on YouTube just for talking about this. All of the gaming press, which at the time had forums, bans this conversation. So people think, well, clearly they have something to hide. Clearly there is something going on here. Well, turns out Zoe Quinn was well connected within the industry. She knew moderators, she knew Johnny's, And this is when I started my channel, because I said, well, you know, if this random chica has so much power to get all of these internet sites to collude with each other, because she knows some people at the moderator level, can you imagine if the government would also pressure these private companies to censor internet discussion? Like, free speech might be in jeopardy or something. Interesting how the times go. So they're like, we are seeing similar kind of coordinated campaign. No, like what we are seeing, I'll tell you what we are seeing, Mrs. Catherine Denkinson. What we are seeing is that after Mr. Depp has been abused and he got fired from various projects, his name has been tarnished throughout the papers, and I didn't see you say anything at the time. I didn't see you come in and say, oh, well, where's the evidence? Like, her allegations are proven untrue. Like, no, you didn't do that, right? Even though, like, he even had recordings of her saying, like, who's going to believe you, Johnny? No one's going to believe that I'm beating you. Okay? Like, even with that, I didn't see you say a single thing about it. So, people on the internet were watching that horrified, looking at that level of injustice. And now because the trial is being televised, people watch because, guess what? Pikachu face, it's celebrity gossip. I know, it's astonishing. Oh my god. People want to watch celebrity gossip. Oh, this must be a new trend. It never happened before, right? Pretty sure if this was with Donald J. Trump or Elon Musk, you know, Elon Musk was the one being accused of lying and slander and libel. Oh, then it would be fine. And again, you know, like the alt-right is hijacking. Good. Let them deal with trivial shit so that they don't do with other more dangerous stuff, you know, like running for elections or other scary things, you know. They might lock people up during the next pandemic or do something crazily fascist like that. Let me know what you guys think, though, and I'll see you in the comment section.